This is gold. This is about $2.5 billion. If it's silver, and that's equated to today's currency, if it's silver, you're looking at about $1 million. So let's just say he owed him a lot of money, and there was no way he was going to pay this. And he said, well, since you've been stealing from me, then here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell everybody in your family into slavery. I'm going to sell everything you got, and I'm going to take that money, and we'll call it even. But the servant fell down, and the Bible says the King James right here says he worshiped him. Literally, it means he begged him. So it doesn't mean he fell and worshiped him like we would worship God. It just says he begged him. He fell down and began to beg him. And he said, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. Patience. Can you be patient? Can we be patient with each other? There's no patience, man. We stand in front of the microwave getting mad, don't we? Road rage is caused from what? We don't have patience. Right? I'm going down the road behind somebody and they're doing 20 in a 45 and I'm getting just furious and I want to ram them. And why? We don't have patience. We don't have patience with people. Change is a hard thing. And change takes time. And being patient with somebody means I'm giving you time to get this together. I'm giving you opportunity to get this together. He said, give me opportunity, have patience with me, and I'll pay you. Well, the Lord of that servant was what? It says, move with compassion. This word right here, compassion, is interesting. And I think I had made a note somewhere about, splagatzamai, and it means that you feel for others, that you feel their pain, you feel their hurt. So it says he was moved with compassion. He felt his pain. He felt his hurt. So he loosed him and did what? He forgave the debt. All of it. Don't pay back some. Don't pay back what you can when you can. Don't pay back any. You made me feel for you in your situation. My heart breaks for you. I'm letting go of this. Now listen, the king didn't come back a couple weeks later and say, yeah, I still remember what you did. Huh. No, that's not forgiveness. That's not forgiveness. What does the Bible say about God when he forgives? In Hebrews, chapter 2 is it? It's chapter 10, verse 2. It says that there's no more consciousness of those sins. That he forgives, he forgets. Is it easy to forget? No. That's difficult. We train ourselves to forget. You can't forget something. I forget stuff all the time. How do you train yourself to forget something? Make yourself quit thinking about it when you think about it. You can do that, You have power where your mind goes. And this pops in my mind, stop thinking about that. Start thinking about something else. Think about whatever else you got to. But fixate your mind on whatever you got to do in that moment. When I got to go give blood, which is coming up here. I hate when I go see my doctor and she's like, look, I need you to go run that blood work right now. I'm like, why you didn't warn me? I turn into the biggest baby. And I'm like, Dr. Ditchman, you didn't? No, can I do it tomorrow? Because I got to go home. I really do. I got to go get ready for this. And she's like, okay, you can do it tomorrow. So all night I'm pumping myself up. I'm looking in the mirror like, you can do this, man. You got this. And I go in, and then they always want you to sit down. We're sitting in a little chair here, and I'm always like, you're new. You're new here. Raj needs a bed. And they're like, well, then the other nurses that know me will come in and they're like, oh yeah, Raj, that's right. He needs a bed. So they go put me in the bed. And she's like, you want me to tell you when to do it or not? And I'm like, just stop talking. Just don't talk. Right? And I got to pump myself up to go through the whole process of this. And part of my pumping myself up, going through the whole process of this, is think about something different. I make myself think about something different. She left there, but man, they had this one little nurse, and I would tell her every time, you're so good at this. She would start talking about stuff and engage me in conversation. I mean about nothing, like what she's cooking for dinner that night for her husband and kids and stuff like that. And I'd be like, man, ribs are good. I wish I knew how to cook ribs, because be messing up my ribs. And she was so good by taking your mind and making you think about something else. So what I got to try to do is take my mind and make it think about something else. Now, I ain't going to tell you what to think about, but I try to make myself think about it, and it gets me through. It gets me through. Also, I learned that when I take my Xanax before I go get blood, that it's usually a walk in the park. I took so many one time. When I went to give blood, I was like, you want to do it right here? You want me to do it? Like that was good. And I don't remember going that day to give blood, so that's when I learned, like, you might want to be careful with your prescription medications. But you take your mind off of it. But you move on, and it says, the same servant went out and found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence, which is not nearly as much money as he owed. It's about a quarter of what he owed, right? So if he owed $1 million, you're talking about 250,000. Somebody said that, if you would equate this, it comes out to like, I owe you $100 and he owes me $5. So the guy that I owed $100 to just said, don't worry about it. And I'm like, cool, man, thank you. I'm walking the street, hey, Billy, you owe me $5. So he sees his fellow servant, and it says that he laid hands on him and took him by the throat, saying, pay me what you owe. Where's my money? The fellow servant fell down at his feet, begged him, saying, same words, have patience with me, and I will pay you all. But verse 30 says, and this is our problem, guys. This is where we are. But he would not. So here's God with all of the bad stuff we do in life, all of the bad stuff you think. I always love mentioning this to people. What if we took your thoughts from the last day, just the last day, and put it up on the screen? How would you feel about that? For everybody to see. You'd be embarrassed. I would. Y'all always say, man, we don't even know who you are, Raj. What in the world? I'd be like, oops, I didn't know you were going to see it. But just imagine the last week, if we had all your thoughts displayed on there, all of your thoughts that are offenses against God, right? Sinful thoughts, want to hurt somebody, or whatever it is, hating somebody, not liking for no reason, wicked thoughts, sexual thoughts, all of these things that are offenses against God. And God does what? He forgives you. He says, my kids are something. I love them. I'm going to let them in. They're trying. I'm being patient with them. But we go to each other and we do little stuff to each other. You stepped on my shoe. And I know that's a dry example, but we do little stuff to each other. Forgive me? Nope. I ain't got nothing for you. I'm telling you, there are people who are mad at me about something, won't forgive me, and the people that were actually hurt, or they forgave me. And it's like, how are you even putting yourself in this? I don't understand. But you want God to forgive you, though, of all the stuff you've done. But you can't say, all right, man, hey, we're all, this is true. And I know this is simple, but guys, this is true. We're all human beings. Life is complicated. Life is tough. And it is so hard to make the right decisions all the time. The devil's influence is in our face perpetually. His influence never goes away. It never stops. The ability to make a bad decision is always knocking at the door. The ability to do something stupid is ever present. These things never go away. It's hard to be human. And when I'm listening to other people and I'm hearing their stories, a lot of times I tell them, man, life's tough, bro. I get it, man. Life is hard. I'm like the least judgmental person you guys will probably ever meet. I just try to be so understanding of what people are going through and where they are in life and the challenges they're facing. And so often when you learn a person's backstory, it really changes your perspective of who they are. I had people that I've met and I knew stuff about them and I thought, man, this person's trash. And then you learn the backstory And it goes from this person is trash to, man, my heart breaks for this person. I don't know how I would have turned out if that would be my backstory. If that would be the things that I faced and went through in life. Some people live a hard life. And we don't even know that. We don't know. They got secret things that they had to deal with that they don't want to talk about. And we don't even know that. And we're so hard on people for the bad decisions they make and the problems they cause. And we really don't even know the true issues that underline that way under it. And shame on us for not being more patient and understanding. And that's what Jesus is saying. Who's greatest? The person who can be patient and forgiving and understanding. A person that can put their self in the other person's shoes. That's the greatest person. And that's what pity means. And that's what feeling sorry for means. It means I put myself in the skin of another person. That I imagine what it's like to walk a mile in their shoes. I imagine what it's like to have to go home to these things and to have to grow up in these things. And I take that into consideration, and my heart breaks for you, and I say, it's okay, don't worry about it. It's okay, don't worry about it. But I'm really, really sorry. I really, really need you to stop apologizing. It's really okay. Really don't worry about it. And I am learning to be more and more of a person who can say, no big deal. Let's move on. Next show, all right? Let's just get past it. What are you going to do? I mean, you want to go through life. Watch people who don't forgive other people. They're the most miserable people you ever meet. They're always mad about something. They're always bitter about something. They're always bothered by something. They're always complaining about something. They're always fussing about something. And you listen to them and you watch them, and two things I always go, man, you wear me out just by listening to you. And I can't imagine what it's like to be you. That wears you out. I just want to be happy and have fun. I was telling a guy at work the other day, I got a life. I have fun on weekends. I wake up early on weekends. I want to do stuff. And I drive my family crazy because I wake up early and I put my music on loud. It depends on what mood I'm in, what you're listening to, right? But lately I've been like on my ballad hairband on Saturday mornings. But I put it on and I start cooking breakfast. And I'm ready. I want everybody to get up, like I'm in bed. And my son comes walking out. Is it ready yet? Well, stay with me. Where are you going? I keep going to the bedroom, looking at Jenny laying there. Come on, let's do something. Well, what you want to do? What is there to do? I don't know. Figure it out. I want to be happy. I want to live life. Do I have a lot to be miserable about? I guess, if I thought about it, but I don't want to be that person. Let's do something. Like what? I don't know. Let's go sit outside. It's 100 degrees. Yeah. You want to go sit outside? That's just me, man. I want to be happy. I want to enjoy life. I want to have fun. And I don't have time to worry about all these things, right? So he would not forgive him, but he went and he threw him in prison till he should pay the debt. Guess what you can't do when you're in prison? You can't pay the debt. So how long is he going to be in prison? Forever. So I'm going to put you in bondage forever. God forgave me, but I'm not going to forgive you, and I'm going to hold you in bondage forever. So when his fellow servants saw what was done, they were what? Very sorry. The Greek says their hearts broke. And they came and they told their Lord. See, now I just knew what happened with you. And you're going to turn around and do that to somebody else? The nerve of you. And Jesus is saying, that's you guys. That's you. Don't think that's not you. That's what you do. You look at God and say, God, please forgive me. God says, okay, I forgive you. Then you go to your fellow man and say, not you. Not forgiving you. And the fellow men see this and their hearts break and they go, how could you do that? So they go tell the Lord. His Lord, after he had called him, said unto him, you wicked servant, I forgave you all that debt because you asked me to. You wicked. That's how God sees us whenever we can't let go. You wicked servant. The book of James says that there's no forgiveness to him who does not forgive. That God says, why should I give you what you won't give to somebody else? That makes sense, right? Why are you asking me to do something for you that you won't do for them? I told my employees, and I've been setting the example for them. I got 30 new employees. They don't know me yet, right? And the other day I looked out my window in my office, and man, I could see they were slammed. And I went out there and I told our floor supervisor, I said, what are you guys doing? And he told me, and I said, Will, I said, I don't know a lot of what you know about doing this. I'm hired to manage you, but what do you need me to do that I could do that could help you? And he looked at me, he's like, you're the boss. I said, what do you need me to do that you know I could do that'll help you get through this? And he said, man, if you could start opening these boxes and just checking the packing slips against what's in the box, that'll help. We got a box cutter, start tearing boxes open, checking packing slips. Will, what's our process whenever we don't have, what do I need to do? And he said, well, you're the boss. You're going to have to, send this up the line. He said, let's do it. But I want to show the guys that I'm not asking you to do something I won't do. The other day we got a steel truck. I primarily dealt with steel at Conrad. Just done differently at somewhere else. Steel truck came in. Three of the guys like, yo, we got a steel truck. We got to go get it. I said, hey, y'all mind if I come with you? You're the boss. Grabbed my hard hat. I took off out there with them. I said, what do we do? I climbed on the back of that truck, cut them bands open, started moving, the stuff around, and they were like, wow, what are you doing? I don't want you guys to do something that I'm not willing to do. And that's where God's coming from with this. Like, I'm not asking you to do something I'm not doing. I'm not willing to do. So how can you want it from me, but not give it to them? I had bosses before that would see us getting slammed and would walk up with their hands in their pocket and watch. And it would make me so mad. I would think, just get out of here. I don't necessarily need you to help, but get out of here and let us do this. I don't want to be that guy. When I go through my shop and I'm looking at what my guys got doing, I start putting my hands on stuff. What is this? Where does this need to go? Is this in you guys' way? What are we doing with this? What is this here? What you want to do with that? Is that done? Can we put that up? I'll put it up for you. That's what I do. And it causes those guys to respect me because they say, our boss ain't afraid to jump in here with us. Therefore, we're not afraid to work for him. And the point being, God is doing for us what we're refusing to do for each other when it's on a much smaller scale. Because I may have just done one thing to bother you. You've done billions of things to bother God. And God takes all billion of them and says, throwing them out the window. And I got the one thing. And you look at me with the one thing, and you're like, nope, not throwing that out the window. So he says, I forgave you. Shouldest not thou also have had compassion, feel for others, on thy fellow servants, even as I had pity, eleio, inside the skin of another, trade places with another, I had pity on you. I put myself in your shoes when you asked me to forgive you. And I related to you. And I let it go. And his Lord was wroth and delivered him to the tormentors until he should pay all that was due him. Now you're not just going to prison. Now you're going to be punished. And look what he says in verse 35. So likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you, if ye from your heart, forgive not everyone his brother of their offenses or their trespasses. That's what God's going to do to you. If you don't from your heart, in other words, you mean it. It's not words. I always tell people, man, words are easy. Words are easy. Actions sometimes are easy. See, we go through behavior modification. Y'all hear me talk about this all the time because that's a problem in Christianity. Behavior modification means it's not what I'm really thinking, but it's what I'm going to say because I can't say what I'm really thinking. Behavior modification means you haven't changed who you are on the inside. See, you could act it out all day long. We could think you're the greatest Christian because you come and you say the best prayers and you wear the best clothes and you go to all the fellowship meals and you go to every night of the gospel meeting and what a great Christian he is. And when he prays, he says thee and thou, and that's amazing. And wow, he could quote verses. You should hear him quote the Bible. What a great Christian he is. And he goes home and he calls his wife stupid and tells her to take out the trash and clean that mess up. And you're so nasty and filthy and I don't even know why I married you. That's not a good Christian. He practices behavior modification. He just learned how to act one way when he's around people, but it's not what's really in his heart. And I know men that has been the case with them. Very close to one who was a great preacher, I thought. And I go spend a week at his house holding a gospel meeting and realize that him and his wife hate each other's guts. And you know what I thought? That's not a good Christian man. You and your wife should not hate each other's guts. Somebody did something wrong. And it is amazing that they would not talk to each other, wouldn't look at each other, wouldn't communicate with each other. You could feel. And whenever we would go to the service, he would sit there with his arm around on the end of the pew and hold her hand. And I would see that when I would be preaching. I would look over at him and I would think, you make me sick. Everybody thinks, what a great preacher, great marriage. I'm in your house every day. And I know I heard that screaming last night when I was trying to go to sleep. You know, and she called you that word. Behavior modification. No, that's why she's from the heart. We got to change who we are on the inside. That's what means something. I want to mention one more thing I thought I'd put in my notes. And that is there's great difficulty in this. And we know there's difficulty because the question Peter asked. He's like, how can I do that? Peter knew this was a challenge. And so for us, it's a challenge. Forgiving people is a challenging thing to do because they've done us something wrong. They've hurt us. And it's hard to be unhurt when you've been hurt. So how do you then, what is the secret to being able to forgive and let go? I don't know that there is one, but here's what you got to determine about yourself and your life, that you will be more miserable holding on to things than you will be by letting go. And forgiveness is not about the other person, it's more about you. Because as long as you're holding something on to something with other people, people are holding on to things. I heard Medea say this. You got people holding on to stuff that other people did to them, and that person's at home sleeping good at night. And you're the one that's still driving yourself crazy. You got to make a determination like me, I was talking about earlier. I just want to be happy. I want to enjoy my life. I want to enjoy my family. And I can't do that if I'm hanging on to all of the stuff that people said about me or did to me or laughed at me or whatever it is. And I get mad when I think about it, but I try to let it go just as quickly and move on. I got stuff to do today. It involves music, it involves laughing, it involves trying to make my wife laugh. And I hadn't made her get a good face hurt laugh in a while. I need to figure that out. The other night we were visiting with some people. And I kept telling them, I said, yeah, I'm crying over here. Like I was laughing so hard, I was crying, just talking about old stuff when we were kids, stuff my dad used to do. A lot of my friends were just as close to my dad as I ever was. And we were talking about it. He was telling a story. You remember when you were down? I was crying. I was laughing so hard. You know, that's how I want to live my life. I don't want to live my life hanging on to all these things. And I hope you do as well. So who's the greatest? A person that can learn to forgive another person. We'll stop there and then we'll take our communion.